The talent agent takes a cut because they are the intermediary. They're the ones who hear about the gigs. They're the ones who call you about the gig. They're the ones who get you the paperwork and the contract and hopefully negotiate and navigate all the things that you need in order to do the job. Hello and welcome to the Innovative Mindset Podcast. I'm your host, Isolde Trachtenberg. On the show, I interview peak performing innovators in the creative, social impact, and earth conservation spaces who are working to change the world. This episode is brought to you by Brain FM. Brain FM combines the best of music and neuroscience to help you relax, focus, meditate, and even sleep. I love it and have been using it to write, create, and do some of my deepest work. Because you're a listener of the show, you can get a free trial. Head over to brain.fm/innovative mindset to check it out. If you decide to subscribe, you can get 20% off with the coupon code Innovative Mindset, all one word. And now, let's get to the show. Hello and welcome to the Innovative Mindset Podcast. I'm your host, Isolde Trachtenberg. This marks the beginning of a new series that I am going to bring to you, particularly if you are in the gig economy and particularly if you work with agents, specifically talent agents. I'm going to be talking about the different ways to work with agents, and I'm not talking about the kinds of talent agents that might be people who are actors, for example, where you might be working with one agent or one agency only. I'm talking about the kinds of agents and agencies where you might be working with a lot of different talent agencies because you have a particular artistic or performing avenue, and different talent agents book you to go to gigs and do those gigs. So, for example, you might be a juggler and you might get booked by this talent agent to do this gig on Saturday and another gig on Sunday by a completely different agent. Or you might be a musician and the talent agent calls you and says, hey, I need a traditional music trio for a birthday party next Saturday. Usually not that close as far as the time frame, but let's say for June 5th, I'm going to need a trio playing Irish music, or I need a jazz band or a dance band for this wedding. And so you get called. If you are a person who does this kind of thing, a talent agent is going to call you and you're going to book the gig, et cetera, et cetera. And so as I've been thinking about this in the way I develop and manage my relationships with agents, I realize that there are probably people who are now coming into the gig economy who don't know how to do that. They don't know how to navigate, develop, negotiate, maintain, and grow their relationships with these talent agents, right? So it's a different kettle of corn when you're thinking about working with an agent who represents you. Like there's one agent who represents Taylor Swift, or maybe she has a team of agents, but there's really only one entity, and that one entity probably only works with her. And then there are they're agencies or agents who might represent several people, but it's different. What the kind of thing that I'm talking about is different in that this talent agency, the way they work is that they are not looking to book me for gigs. They actually get called by clients who want performers or entertainers or something like that for events that they're having, and then these talent agents turn around and go book the people that they are that the client has asked for. And I've been thinking about this a lot, and I think that has changed over time. It didn't used to be like that. Talent agents, I think, used to be more, I represent this person, and this is how it goes. I'm trying to get them gigs. The way it is now is more client-oriented rather than the performer being the client. The person who is paying for the party that they need entertainment at, for example, might be a client. And so the client will call the talent agency and say, hey, I need a group to sing the Alleluia chorus for this wedding that's taking place at this church, and I need you to find me a group that can do that. I am a musician and a reader, and also the leader of and manager of one of the premier holiday caroling groups in the nation called the Philosopher's Tones. So during November and December, I'm usually super busy with these holiday gigs. But not only do I do the singing, I'm one of the sopranos in the group, I also do all of the managing. I do the marketing, I do the PR, I do the website, I recorded and edited our demos, the current demos. We're going to be doing new ones soon. And I also manage all of the interactions with bookers and talent agents. Now, there's a difference between working with a client directly and working with a talent agent. The way it works is the booker, if you're working with the booker, the person who's at an event who wants to book you to do something, you're actually negotiating all of the information with the client directly, which means the fee and any parking you might need and the exact hours and what's going to be provided for the talent when they show up. Will they have a green room in which to change their clothes? Will there be a place for them to take breaks? Will they have breaks? All of those kinds of things fall to me, for example, to negotiate with the client directly. And then, of course, I'm responsible for disseminating that information for the people I hire, the singers, to come to the gig and do the gig with me. But then on top of that, as the leader and manager of this group, I also have to make sure that they get there on time, that they know their music, that they're prepared, that they have all the costuming and everything set up. And then that we do the gig, we sound great, we kick butt, and at the end, get any notes from the client, and after that, make sure the client pays us so that I can pay the singers. Now, how I pay the singers is I pay them pretty much as soon as I can, I pay them. Sometimes that means that I have to wait until the client's check clears, and sometimes that means that I have enough money in the coffers, if you will, to pay them immediately. But they get paid regardless. That's one thing that I have to be sure of, is to maintain integrity with my singers and my status as the manager and leader of this group, that I make sure that they get paid no matter what. So sometimes that works, most of the time, the vast majority of the time, that works great, right? The client books me, we do the gig, everything is great, the contract is signed. The contract is usually signed way before the gigs, but you know what I mean. So I'm there, we do the gig, everything is great, and then I collect the fee from the client. There are people out there who take a deposit. It is a good idea, if you can, get a 50% deposit before the gig date. Then a week or so before the gig, you check in with the client, make sure that everything is still a go. And if it's not, then you get to keep the deposit if they cancel within a certain amount of time. And so then you're in a situation where you come, you do the gig, everything is great, hopefully everybody's happy. You might ask for a quote from the client for your website, things like that, or referrals, all of that, and we'll be talking about that in later episodes. So you do all of that, and then you give them the bill for the final amount of the money that they owe. They hopefully pay you, either send you a check or pay you right there. And you move on, and hopefully they book you next year because they had such a delightful time this year. When you're working with an agent, it's a different story because there is a level of separation between you and the client. The agent acts as an intermediary between you and the client. Now, there are a couple of reasons for this. First of all, clients want to know that they're hiring a reputable reputable talent. And one of the ways they do that is they believe in the agencies. The agencies are there to help the client feel comfortable that the talent that they're providing is talent that will be good. That's what happens with temp agencies. That's what happens with contracting agencies. It's the same that happens with talent agencies. The client believes that because they're going to an agency, that there's one more layer of insulation in the hopes that they will have the right talent for the right job booked appropriately. What that means also is that the agent takes a cut. That can be anywhere from 10% to 25%, and even more sometimes if you sign the piece of paper that says they're allowed to do that. But the talent agent takes a cut because they are the intermediary. They're the ones who hear about the gigs. They're the ones who call you about the gig. They're the ones who get you the paperwork and the contract and hopefully negotiate and navigate all the things that you need in order to do the job, right? So they are there to help you navigate to get to the gig, just as they are there to help the client to navigate to book the talent. All of those things sort of converge on the agent. And as the talent who wants to work with a talent agency, you need to give the agent the very best information and materials that highlight you in a great light, and also that are honest, of course, but that highlight you in the best possible light so that the talent agent will feel confident that when a client calls and asks for something that you're doing, that they absolutely know they want to book you. And the Philosopher's Tones and I have developed these costumes that look adorable, if I say so myself. And we have great demos. We sound in our demos like we sound live. We can make 4 people sound like a choir, right? So when an agent says, you know what, I have the perfect book group for you, I have every confidence that they do, right? So the client hears the demo. When they go, oh, I want a caroling group, for example, the client hears the demo of us, sees our images, and the demo's a video, so they see us perform. And then they're like, oh, yeah, them, I want to book them. And so the agent comes back to me and says, yes, they want to book us on, this and such date. I find the singers to make sure that they're available. And then all of the pieces fall into place for us to be able to do the gig when we're booked to do it. I'm going to talk a lot about the demo, and I'm going to talk a lot about contracts in future episodes, but I wanted to get you started thinking about, if you are someone who wants to work with talent agents, you're going to want to know, first of all, what it is that you do that a talent agent would be interested in, and what it is that will set you apart from all the other people who do what you do. If you're an amazing guitarist, that is awesome. If you want to hire yourself out to play weddings, that is awesome. You're going to need a great demo, and we're going to talk about what should be in a demo for this kind of thing. And you're going to want to have great materials like a great headshot, video of you performing, all of this stuff. And also, you better be really great at what you do, and you have to have the integrity that if you say that you're able to do something, by gum, you had better be able to do it, right? So, for example, one of the things that I sing classical and opera, and I was booked to sing at a Catholic wedding. I needed to sing Jesu Joy of Man's Desiring and Ave Verum, Mozart's Ave Verum. And I had not sung Ave Verum for a long time, and I went, can I learn this or relearn it well enough by the time the wedding comes around? And I was booked for the gig in June. The gig itself wasn't until the Christmas season. Yes, I could learn it. Absolutely. I felt very confident saying that I was able to do that job. And I did, and it went great, and blah, blah, blah. All of that is great. And my agents that I work with in this way, they know that if I say I can do what they've asked of me, they trust me because I've built up trust with them over the years, that if I say I can do it, that I'll be able to do it no matter what, right? So that's another aspect of this, is that your integrity as a performer, as an artist of any kind, lies in you being able to deliver everything you said, and perhaps even then some. One of the things that you want, as I said, is to know what will set you apart from everybody else who does what you do. And I'm going to talk about that in the next few episodes, because I think it's important to start thinking about yourself as someone who wants to enter the gig economy in this way. If you're a creative and you want to do design, if you're a singer and you want to sing opera at embassies, or if you're a jazz musician, or if you're a caricaturist, all of those things have to be vetted by the agents before clients book you. And you need to set yourself apart, so they're not just trying to fill a slot, so that they start thinking of you as the person they want to go to. You want to be the go-to person in your type of performance, type of art. If you're the go-to person, you're going to get booked a lot more often than if you're just someone they can fill a slot with. Alrighty, I hope that you've enjoyed today's episode, delving into the very beginning of how to work with agents in the gig economy. This is Isolde Trachtenberg reminding you that this episode was brought to you by Brain FM. I use Brain FM all the time to meditate, to sleep, to do my creative work, to write, to do accounting, all sorts of things. It's really an amazing, amazing app. I love it. And if you want to try it, you can try it for free. Or you can grab 20% off with my little coupon if you go to brain.fm/innovative mindset and use innovative mindset, all one word, as the coupon code, you'll get 20% off. And because I'm an affiliate, I'll get a little bit of money too. Anyway, I look for more episodes about all of this stuff coming soon. I just wanted to wet your whistle a little bit because I think it's important to start thinking about many of us are in the great resignation. Many of us are changing jobs, changing careers, and going for things like performing and drawing and art and all of these other things, but we might not know how to navigate it. How do you navigate working with agents? If you don't know how, what do you need to know? So hopefully this next series of episodes will be helpful to you. Until next time, I remind you to be bold, be creative, and most of all, be kind. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you being here. Please subscribe to the podcast if you're new, and it would mean the world to me if you told a friend about it. Today's episode was produced by Isolde Trachtenberg and is copyright 2021. As always, please remember this is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Past performance does not guarantee future results, although we can always hope. Until next time, remember to be bold, be creative, and most of all, be kind. Thank you.